As a fan of pro wrestling for so many years, the events that took place in this week's episode of One Piece, as well as whenever it happened in the manga, it was always really, really nice and special for me for two different reasons. Number one, whenever Guts, because the thing is that classic, the always like the face announcer, the guy that cheers on the good guys. Because on the announcing table, he's usually the guy who's the heel announcer who cheers on the supposed bad guys, and the face announcer who cheers on the guy that you're supposed to cheer on. So like Gats really played that really, really, really well. He was hyping him up, and from where I come from in the world of pro wrestling, whenever somebody's hyping somebody up and he gets the crowd to cheer his name, the person gets up and they get up stronger than ever. As some Hulk Hogan stuff, or John Cena, or whoever the face is, one of those two may be. Doon, they start cheering the name, or whatever the case may have you. And the other portion is the Royal Rumble, with the 10, 9, 8, and the last second, Monkey D. Love, it's just Royal Rumble type of thing. So as a fan of pro wrestling, I always really loved this chapter, especially how it really showcases how important an announcer really is to any sort of, an announcer really adds so much to a scene, to a match, to a fight. I always say that matches run by good announcers are always memorable, because in order to have a legendary match, you need to have sort of three things. And I'm going a little tangent for wrestling, but screw it. You need to have a great, like a 5-star match. You need to have one hell of an announcing team. And then, of course, you need to have the crowd that has an amazing crowd, and that's how you create a 5-star match. A quick example, having like good old JR on the announcing table with King, for example, and then a night on like Raw's War, where they have like one hell of a match, and then of course with the fans all getting extremely going crazy, they're popping. But the main thing is you got one of those pieces, the announcer, and this chapter really, Oda really goes in on showing just how important an announcer is to a situation like this, because this is really realistic when it comes to like the wrestling world. So, it's getting off that, because, as a pro wrestling fan, I just absolutely loved that portion and everything that Gats did. I love it. I absolutely love it, because I love it. As a man who's appreciated so much announcing over the years in the world of pro wrestling, it's just, I love it. I absolutely love it, man. I really do. And Gats was awesome. Gats really stole the show this week's episode. But one of the main highlights was when he got stabbed by Dofi. Like, Dofi heard this man going in. He was like that one heel, like the guy. And I know I'm gonna make a lot of wrestling references in this thing. So if you're not a pro wrestling fan, I apologize, but I am. And I love the hell out of it, which is why I love this episode so much. And, he's sitting there, he's hyping up Luffy, and then Doflamingo just stabs him, he hits him. He just rams him right in his stomach, and you're like, yo, this is really giving me wrestling vibes now. And it's crazy. It was really, really cool. I just love it. It's like Doflamingo's like, yeah, so what, man? Even if he does get up, what does that happen to you? He ain't saving you. I can kill you right before this thing goes right down to zero. And what you gonna do about it then, huh? Where's your hero Lucy gonna be at then? And I was like, yeah, Doflamingo's just that dude. He doesn't care. He's always calm in every situation. He's collected, and he's just badass. I love Doflamingo, man. And he had a lot of really, really awesome and savage faces in this week's episode. By God, the art on his face in so many different occasions, but in this week in particular, man, there at the end, Luffy's was beast. But Doflamingo, he was looking down, he was like, yeah, the earrings popping, he got the teeth showing. He was like, man, I love it. I love Doflamingo so much, man. That's my guy. So that was really, really cool. And then as well, going right back to Gats, whenever he actually announced, whenever he was hyping up Luffy, he was giving up Lucy's achievements, He was like, yeah, Lucy did this. Like whenever a wrestler's coming out, they show like their achievements, like the how many times they were champion, what's their current, status in the league, like if they are a champion, and then it says where they're from or whatever. That's what he was doing with Lucy, and it's like, but in fact, the name of this man is the pirate Straw Hat Monkey D. Luffy, and everyone's shook. They're like, "Man, we're supporting a pirate, the same guy who just took over our country and betrayed us after we believed in him for the past 10 years." And Guts, like the awesome announcer he is, I have somebody's like, "No, he's the complete opposite. That guy's the heel." but our face is a man that we can believe in. He's nothing like the bastard that turned on us 10 years ago. He's nothing like the bastard that made King Riku go against all of us, and by using like his puppeteering tricks and whatnot. And it's like, yo, I loved it because once again, go back to the wrestling thing, man. The heel and face thing. So it was really, really cool, and I absolutely enjoyed it. Now I don't know if that was intentional by Oda, but that's just the way I interpret it, man. I really, really did. And then, of course, Luffy coming in right at the end, man. And Viola was really getting me. That soundtrack at the end was heavenly, by the way. That soundtrack was going in. But Viola at the end with the tears coming down, just apologizing for... Because, she wasn't even fearing for her own life. That's why I love this scene so much. Viola was about to get killed, but instead of pleading for mercy, she instead felt sorry for the fact that Rebecca was never going to forget this moment. And that is heroic. That is amazing. And that's something that I could really look up to. I'll be like, damn, man, she's a woman of honor, and I love Viola for that. I really, really did. Whenever she apologized, she, instead of fearing for her own life, she was apologizing to Rebecca for the fact that she wasn't strong enough to get out of the situation, and now that she would forever have to live with the fact that she killed Viola, and she was thinking about that before thinking about herself. Applause to Viola, man. I love that scene. Right there at the very end. Lost substitutes. Luffy shows up, hockeyed up right here. The sword snatches. Luffy looks back. He's ready to toss it out with the flamingo. And that's where this week's episode of One Piece ends. Now, in the manga, mind you, One Piece went on break at this point, so you guys were lucky you got the episode next week. So yeah, man, this week's episode, it was a good sauce, it was pretty solid, but I just really, really loved the Guts thing. As a pro wrestling fan, I really, really love the Guts thing, man. Just the addition of him, I love it. I absolutely love it. Just showing the importance of an announcer and everything that just went down with them, and I don't know, I just absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. And Viola, Guts, God, got to. The awesomeness of Luffy at the end, but and Doflamingo's savage face has really made One Piece for me this week. Next week is going to be hype. I just don't know how much of the chapter they're going to do, but 790 is a hype chapter. So if they adapt the full chapter next week, you guys are in for one hell of an episode. I am really, really excited. It contains probably my favorite move in the series, and it's in the name of next week's episode, King Kong. Dude, I'm ready, son. I'm ready. Next week's episode is gonna have one hell. It's hype. It's hype. Next week's episode is hype from both aspects, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to witness next week's episode actually animated, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to next week. Basing off the preview, though, I really do think that we might get the full chapter animated, hopefully. And from here on out, man, it's straight up awesome sauce. I cannot lie to you guys. From here on out, this is my jam right here. This is where it's gonna get really, really awesome. From here on, I absolutely love what's about to go down in the anime, and it's gonna be a blast. But it starts with next week. Next week is gonna be absolute hype sauce, and I can't wait. I really am excited to see it animated. And this week's episode, just going back, I was just a huge fan of it, man. I love the Guts thing, and just seeing it animated, seeing how he said it, and how the crowd was cheering him on, Luffy. I mean, come on. Yeah, just awesome vibes. So you guys, for the of the day, if you're a pro wrestling fan, let me know if you felt the same way as me. Or am I just interpreting in a way that makes me look like a wrestling tard? That might be the case. But if you're a pro wrestling fan, let me know if you feel the same way. And even if you're not, how did you guys feel about this episode? How did you guys feel about the Gat situation? How did you guys feel about that awesome Viola scene? Shout out to her, man. Really, really, really awesome a moment that she had there. Really thinking about others before herself, and that's very, very, very touching, very awesome sauce, especially since she's her own family member. But Doflamingo as the villain, he's still killing it. He's still awesome, and he's still going to the next one. So you guys have an awesome day. One Piece for the win. This episode for me gets a good sauce, and I'll see you guys next week. Yeah.